Now here's a defending round for CS. Up here you'll see how much damage you did to the crystal. It'll keep track of your time and how much time you got left. This is the raid management by hitting B. You get to see who the leader is. You get to see what party you're in if you look at the title bars. See 1, 2, 4 there. You get to see the blue text on the chat would be the raid leaders. Now there's a few words that they'll just abbreviate. You should know what they are. We'll go into that later. This is the crystal room. This is the left ladder. This is the right ladder. Those are called inners. So if they say cover inners, they're talking about that. That's the inner gate. This is mid pyre. This is north or left. This is right or south pyre. Those are the outer ladders or gates. Now your main defense is going to focus on the mid and inners. Now you're going to be using turrets that are in this location here, there, and they're going to be firing towards the gate, and also that one can fire towards the other gate. It can also cover any ships that are passing by, for example, south ship and north ship. Now you want to make sure you have the right charms. As you saw, they dropped power and infused, and there's reverse. That's a very important charm. You don't ever want to use endurance. Some people say that you should use endurance. Screw that. Stick with reverse. Now set up your PvP crystals. You want to use relentless. You can have the maximum HP possible, and any PvP crystals you already have. Don't use crystals that are used for monsters. They will have no effect here unless you're attacking the gate. These things we passed by were the tanks, the inner turrets. Those are important when they start hitting the inner gate. Now this is the first ladder. This is the left ladder, as you can see on the map. That needs to be covered. It should have at least 2 to 3 people, normally 3. That's inner tank. Now this is the right ladder. Usually it's very weak because people don't want to come this far. And I'll just watch it for now, since there's only one guy. I'm going to jump in inner tank. Now inner tank is a little tricky. If you try to fire anything that's far away outside of these 2 poles, it seems that they often the fire often detonates before it even hits the target. So as long as you shoot between those 2 flags, it should hit the destination. Anything outside of those 2 flags, you'll likely just bug out, unless you're trying to fire at the inner ladders. Those will be fine. Now there's south ship. He called it out on the raid chat. Just aim at it and blow it up. There's north ship crossing paths. Okay, so it's dead. Now you can always tell if the ship is empty or not if it's taking damage. If it's not taking damage, it's probably empty, and you don't have to waste time on it. Okay. Now this guy's saying that ladder needs help. There's one guy climbing, or he wants to climb at least. So I'm gonna go help him out. You never want to neglect the inner ladders, because most raid parties do, because they always want to be out PvPing. And I'm gonna see if I can take care of this guy first, and I'll go back to right ladder. Yeah, never mind. There's a whole group here will probably end up getting killed. But if you keep them busy at times, as long as the ladders are protected, you can prevent them from climbing because they're in battle stance. So that's equally as annoying, even if you do die. Keeps them busy. They're supposed to be focusing on destroying the crystal, not PvPing, so that'll help. Here there's some climbers on the right ladder. We band together and kill them off, and they retreat. And again, you can't stress the importance enough of how important it is to take care of the inners. In some cases, it's okay to have less than 3, no pun intended, but you normally want to have 3 people on each inner ladder. So you see the message there, they destroyed the outer gate. Now, it's taken them a while, so it's unlikely they'll be able to do a whole lot more. Now, the raid leader is calling more inners again. This is important, especially now, since they can just rush to the ladders if they want to. Now, he dropped a scan there. If you see all the red dots on the map, it shows where all the enemies at. That's the raid leader's job to do, is basically scan when he can, which will reveal the enemies and give orders. But as a DPS or a healer on the defending side, your job is to pay attention to what he's saying and to pay attention to where the red dots are at. Your job isn't to go hunt them down, some solo spot or something like that. Your job is to slow them down. Even if you die, slow them down. Now remember, these two turrets are going to be important at this point. They're hitting the gate, so you want to bomb the gate. Now, the good strategy to do is not shoot up high or shoot straight at the door, but shoot a little bit lower so that you can at least have a detonation that hits the ground as well. You can see I'm doing damage there to somebody or something, and just keep shooting along with the other turret that's also firing. Now what you don't want to do is when the gate breaks, you don't want to follow a few enemies here and there that are passing you, and you're just wasting cannon fire. The two turrets should continue focus fire on the gate. That way anybody that's coming through, which will be floods of them, will continue to take damage, will be knocked down, will be slowed down because of battle stance, etc., etc. You make it a bottleneck, and you just allow the PvPers to wipe the guys that are passing you up. So don't try to focus on singles passing you up, because they're going to kill you anyways. They're going to normally focus on the turrets first if they're a good team. So keep up the fire and wait for the gate to break, because once it's at this point, the only thing you guys can do is PvP them outside. Now they broke the gate, it seems here, so continue firing, and some of them are leaking in, and you just keep making a bottleneck. Now the other turret is kind of jacking up. He's starting to fire at the other guys, and he's doing what we're not supposed to be doing. The crystal, so now it really is just a matter of delaying as long as possible, which didn't last very long with this team. Let me show you another clip of a better offense. Now, again, there's the time, how much we need to beat. Since they destroyed the crystal completely, we really need to destroy the crystal completely before their time that they allocated. However, they did a pretty good job in my opinion, so this will probably be a loss. Now, this is the south gate. Normally you want to take the mid road, as I point here, because it's quicker than the outer road. Now, that's the north gate, and you take the north road just to get to it. There's no other way to get to it. He's asking that everybody climb the ladders. Really, that's probably the only thing you can do, but in this case, because they did break the gate and destroy the crystal, because it's probably going to be a loss, but I would have done something differently. I would have broken the gate at least for some insurance, because it would not only give you time, but it would give you open access into the fort. Now, if you back crit, you want to back crit behind the gate, of course. You are often told to take the ship, north ship right here, and it'll take you up there and drop you off. But the turrets are going to be firing at you, so hopefully the outer tanks will have your cover for you so that you can continue safely into the passage. If not, you just have to drop off before you get blown up. Now that's south ship. It can go down the middle. It has the same problem with the turrets and inner tank as we showed you earlier. Now they can drop in the middle and capture mid pyre, which is always nice. Or if they get through, they can drop on the left inner and climb into the crystal room and destroy it. That's called ninja, because they sneak in. So the attack is about to start. Let's see how well these guys do here. These guys forgot to drop a reverse charm, so I'm going to drop it. Again, I can't stress enough how important reverse is in CS. Reverse will basically reflect the damage, but it will also reflect damage to tanks. And that's important because if they're firing at you from a long distance, nothing's going to be damaging those tanks. But if you have reverse on, multiply that times your raid, and those tanks are getting a lot of damage and reflection, which will in turn destroy them, or at least weaken them. So here we're trying to cover them, but it seems like this plan is going to go haywire right now. Yeah, it's not gonna go through. There's a south ship going through the middle, and I was trying to cover him, but this guy's trying to blow up my tank, so I'm gonna exit and see if I can kill this freaking Reaper. That's not gonna happen. I'll even leave it in the video so you can see my ass get kicked. And this is how I die. Now this is an offensive round. We're hitting the south gate. That's what the regulator called. So what you want to do is move the tank, if you take a tank, and cover the DPS in this manner. Turn the tank around so you can live longer and start firing at the tanks. Stay in them until you die. Do not jump out because they can get moved by the defending team and then you're jacked. Your cover is jacked. So respawn, don't be afraid to die. Ideally you want to have both tanks covering them, but I don't know what the hell happened to the other tank. Once that happens, you go help the DPS, or if the gate breaks like this, just follow the leader's commands. He says to go for the ladder after the break. So that's what we're going to do. It's always best to try to follow what he says, even if it doesn't work out. Because if you work as a team, you have a higher chance of winning. Even if the plan is a little weird, just try to do your best to follow along. Unless it's completely stupid. I mean, that's a different matter. So here we are trying to climb. A lot of us are going to take DPS. The idea is to try to burn the defending team's strongest attacks. I like to stun right after I jump off, help out the other climbers, and then just rush to the crystal room and DPS them. What I normally like to do when I'm climbing is I go into D stance as a warrior, and I pop on all my defending crystals, and then I switch them right before I hit the crystal, so I can do more damage. And that's pretty much it for the defending round. We followed suit and we got this round down pretty pat. Now, the crystal is going down in health, as you can see, and the time is pretty good. So they're going to have an excellent offense in order to be able to beat that. But likely it's not going to happen, so this is likely a win for us because it's about to break. So we're done here on the attack round. Now I'm going to go over again the defending part. A few things that maybe I didn't go through on the previous clip. So again, check the time, see what you got to beat. Remember, even if you destroy their crystal or they destroy yours after you've already destroyed it, it doesn't necessarily mean you lose. You only lose if they destroyed it before the time allotted that you snagged. So say you destroyed the crystal in say 3 or 4 minutes, okay, and they end up breaking it in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. It's a loss for you because they broke it faster. But if they broke it 1 second past the 4 minutes, then it's a loss for them. So I see a lot of people still in CS that don't understand that. They'll be like, "Hey, why are we giving up?" Or "Hey, we still got a chance to win." In reality, you don't. If you don't beat the time, it's a loss anyways. However, I don't condone giving up just for the sake of giving up. I really hate that. It bothers me. At least PvP your hearts out and do something. Now here, if you're defending, you can take this ship here. It'll take you to the mid-pyre much quicker without having to take damage from jumping off the inner ladder. Make sure no one wants to jump in with you and then take off. And then in order to jump out, by default, the button is number 1. It'll let you know when you can use it. You can drop off right here. Don't do what I did previously and another time jump off before the wall and fell down. Anyways, here's the turret, one of the outer turrets. I'm firing at the south ladder. I think I see somebody there, so I'm just going to try to prevent them from climbing. Ideally, what you want to do is watch out for the south ship coming down the middle. That's the north ship over there. So let's keep an eye for south ship and see if he drops. Now there's south ship. So you start firing it as soon as possible. Try to weaken it, if not destroy it, so at least the inner tank can take it out. As we can see, we're weakening it pretty bad, and it's gone. they all dropped before getting blown up. So you can jump off the turret now if you don't need it, if there's no one on mid. And now just defend your pyre or just follow whatever the leader says. At this point it's pretty much GG, and we're just gonna fool around. And now what we can see here is that we got some leaks in through inner ladders, probably due to the fact that they're weak. So there's damage happening to the crystal, and it's happening pretty fast, so that's not good. So if inners are still weak, run back to it. Don't be the type that just stay out there PvPing and not giving it crap, and start covering your inner ladders. So it looks like they took out the leaks, so the DPS stopped, and now we're good to go. Even though they did that much damage to it, it doesn't really matter, because they did not destroy it before the time was over for them. So this is a win now. You get the results and the battle stats, check your rank and all that. Don't forget to collect your Vanguard daily. You can also, if you're still near the area, you can also drop down to the courtyard, and if it's your first win of the day, you can get your reward here with this NPC, which was kindly shown to me by one of the guildies. And that's pretty much it. So I'll be making a couple more videos after this.